see if you guys can hear and see me okay here. You can see the screen. And you should be able to see the chat, and you should see a fun little poll. Okay, awesome. Hey, welcome to today's webinar, and I'm taking you behind the scenes of my six-figure music business. This is all about smart strategies to win in the new music industry. My name is Leah McHenry, and I'm incredibly excited to share this information and knowledge with you today. I want to impart to you hope, encouragement, and an actual blueprint for what's working right now. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Just type in the chat and just type, "Hey Leah, I hear you. Everything sounds good," or "yes," or something like that, so I know everything is awesome. Everything is awesome. For those of you who have seen the Lego movie, that's a reference. Okay, cool. It is the top of the hour. Everyone's saying, "I can hear you. I see you." Awesome. And guys, real quick, tell me where you're coming in from, whereabouts you're coming in from, and what kind of music you play. And just for fun, I put a little poll there. You can just tell me more about you. Are you a singer, songwriter? Are you a manager? What kind of, expertise belongs to you? Are you, right now, we've got 31% are saying singer, songwriter. 32% say, "I do it all." You're doing everything, like start to finish, writing the songs, producing, playing the instruments, everything. Awesome. And Sharon's from the UK. She says, "I do various genres." I meet a lot of musicians who do various genres. I think most of us musicians like to experiment a lot, and we don't like really being boxed into one genre. But we're going to talk about genres today. This is one of the key things that got me to where I am now, is really figuring out the genre issue. All right. So far, everyone's saying they can hear just great. So if for some reason, Rebecca, if you don't hear anything, try refreshing and making sure your volume is up. Cool. Dave says he's from Salt Lake City and he plays mostly rock and classic. Corey says he's from the West Coast, pop rock and EDM. We've got someone from London. We got people all over the world today. This is really cool. Someone's from Sicily, Italy. Wow. Welcome. Excellent. Okay. Well, we are going to get started. Let's get started and just jump right into this amazing session. I'm very excited to be able to share this class with you today. And let me tell you, this is going to be the best thing that you have done all year. Okay. All year for your music business, whether you are just starting out, you haven't even begun yet, or you've been doing this for 30 years. This is going to be incredibly informative and educational. Now, let me just share with you how you can supercharge your results just for being here in this class. Who here is serious about their music? Let me know in the chat. Type Y for yes, N for no, and M for meh. Put that in the chat and let me know, because I believe that everyone who showed up today is a serious musician, even whether you're doing it full time or not, doesn't matter. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't come. So now I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. I'm going to highly recommend that you turn off your text messages. Even I do. I turn off my phone. Put your phone on silent at least. And if you're on a desktop today, close your other tabs. I already know how ADD us musicians are. We always have like 50 tabs open and we're browsing around. We're multitasking because we're creative. We think that we can do 100 things at once. But do yourself a favor. I'm going to say what The Rock says, Rock Johnson. Focus. Just focus on this. One reason is I'm going to be asking you a question at the end in order to win something. We're doing cash prizes today, okay? We're doing Amazon gift cards. So you're going to need to pay attention the whole time in order to not miss this. And this is for your benefit, not mine, for you. Now, I also want to say one more thing, is that the information works together as a complete picture. So if you're distracted and you only get one piece of information here, one piece of information there, you're not going to come away with the same blueprint or the same understanding of what you would if you saw the whole thing, okay? Now, by the end of this class, here's my big, bold promise to you, is that by the end of this class, you're going to know all the secrets of how professional musicians are killing it online right now. They're making 5 and even 6 figures each year. This is what I'm doing. And I'm not talking about touring. I'm not factoring that into the 5 and 6 figures per year. I'm going to tell you right out of the gate that touring is like icing on the cake. That's how I view it. It's not the cake in my formula, but it's icing on the cake if you can do it. A lot of us here can't. We're busy. We're in school. We're full-time parents. We have careers. We can't just up and leave and go on tour. So everything I'm sharing with you today is done as an artist who doesn't tour. I don't tour. So, but I don't want you to think that I think there's anything wrong with it. It just is a whole different animal. So I also want to acknowledge to you that I've heard there's a lot of kinds of things out there right now on the internet, a lot of crap on the internet. There's a lot of false claims. There's scammers. And I've even personally been subject to some of it. So I just want you to know that I know that this is a big promise to you. And it might even sound unbelievable to you. And if you're skeptical, I don't blame you. I also was skeptical that anything like this was possible after years of hearing that the music industry was dead, right? For the last 10 years, that's all we've heard. So many articles coming out about that, just like, Spotify is the enemy and digital music and nobody's making sales. We're going to bust all those myths right now. And I'm so glad that I did not listen to any of that crap, and you will be too by the end of this class, okay? So stay till the end. It's worth it. If you have to shuffle your schedule around, make it happen. It's worth it. I promise this will be worth your while. Okay, now, quick question for you before we dig in. If I promise to give you great content, do I have your permission to take 10 minutes to give you a great offer for you to consider at the end? If that sounds fair, type yes in the chat, okay? Because I also want you to know this is all up to you, totally up to you. I'm not going to do that unless I give you something you can use in your music career today, and only with your permission. I love teaching this stuff, and if you take the knowledge I'm about to give you and you run with it, holy smokes, there's a lot you can do with your music career. You're going to have all the pieces to the puzzle, the whole thing. So I do want to share with you how we can work more closely together at the end. I think I can take you much farther, much faster. But in order for me to do that, I want you to get something amazing out of this class. So you know I'm motivated to give you cool, amazing content right now. My heart is to truly help change the music industry forever. And that's why both you and I are here right now. You want something to be different in your music career too. Now, just for sticking around to the end, I'm also going to give you an additional free bonus at the end of this training, right after the Q&A. Okay. Number one, you're going to get these slides. You don't have to worry like, oh, Leah, I can you go back to that other slide? I missed that, those points. You're going to get the slides at the end of this class when you stick around. So you get all of my cliff notes, everything I'm even saying right now, you get all my notes. Number two, I'm going to hook you up with a very important workbook that's going to show you how to find something crucial to do with niches and genres that I'm going to be talking about in this webinar. You're going to get that download at the end too. So make sure you stay on. Dude, this is a smart decision for you to be here. Okay, we've got a couple of cash prizes happening right now. Okay, one right now and then one during our Q&A. So I'm going to ask a question, and the first person to put in the right answer in the chat wins. Now, in order to get this prize, you had to be paying attention to the very first confirmation email you got from me. Okay, I wrote something in there that you had to, pay attention to in order to win this prize. All right, here it is. Here's the question. Are you ready? Are you ready? What 3 things from you am I asking for in return for sharing this information? What 3 things from you am I asking for in return for sharing this information? There's 3 things. It was in the first confirmation email. Let's see. Oh, Claire. Is Claire the winner? My staff will confirm. Here's the answers because people are already typing it in. Number 1 was that you show up live. Number 2 is that you keep an open mind for 60 minutes. Number 3 was that you ask me your question at the end. Claire is the winner. Woohoo! Congratulations. Okay. Excellent. And we're going to do another one at the end or during our Q&A time. So looks like some of you guys were paying attention. I like this. Excellent. Gold star for you guys. Okay. All right, let's dig in. I'm going to give you a really quick bio about me. I'm not going to go on and on about myself for an hour. Nobody cares. So I'll give you my 1-minute bio and let's talk about who I am and why you should listen to me. Why even bother? Well, first of all, I'm a stay-at-home mother of 5 kids under the ages of 11 and under. That's just a fun fact. But also, I've been a songwriter, singer, musician my whole life, but I didn't get more serious about it until after I had a family. So I did things completely backwards. I didn't have the advantage of building a fan base and then settling down with a family later. I did it all backwards. Like, I shouldn't have succeeded. I also grew up thinking that my dream was to get signed to an awesome record deal. Or that's what I thought I wanted, was a record deal. But that did not happen. I sent countless emails. I sent press kits. I sent snail mail to these A&R agents, all the record companies I thought would be interested in me. I really pursued it hard, and I never heard back. Pretty soon, I gave up on this whole idea and began to get a little bit depressed, thinking that my music was going to have to stay a hobby in my basement and pretty much stay on the computer. Now, when Facebook, YouTube, and some of these other social platforms started taking off, I became very observant. And I saw this new online scene emerge for artists. And I had to ask myself, could this be a way for me to do something with my music? So I uploaded my first album release to YouTube, like the whole album, and every other artist profile site I could find out there, SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, all of them. Here's what happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Again, that was also disappointing, kind of depressing. And as a result, I started to actually doubt myself, right? In the end, you're just like, well, shoot, like I've done everything right that I know how on my own without a label. Like, am I even any good? Do I suck? Like, what's the deal? Why am I getting no traction? So here's what happened. I randomly picked up a few listeners on my YouTube videos like 6 months later. And I started to realize that even though that this was encouraging, okay, this is awesome, I have a few listeners, it showed me that I had become a needle in a massive haystack. Okay, that's what you are right now. I'm not trying to insult you, but that's the deal. It also showed me that I had the false belief that if you build it, they will come. Just like that movie Field of Dreams. I believe that if my music was good and I was truly talented, good things would just happen organically. And someone would come across my music and all my dreams would come true, and how wrong I was. And to make things worse, I didn't even have the advantage of touring and making a name for myself at festivals and local shows. Hey, can you just, guys, let me know if you can hear me okay? I just want to make sure I'm getting a couple of messages saying that I'm breaking up and that we're having a couple of connection issues. Can you guys just let me know? Everything good? Okay, so it looks like for most people, they can hear me perfectly fine. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, so like I said, because I had a busy family life, I couldn't tour. That just wasn't in the cards for me. It wasn't realistic. So by this point, I was starting to realize I had some problems. And this was kind of, in a way, the things that were facing me in situational things, if you will. Number one was I had no true fans yet. So I'm like, well, if I don't have fans, how am I going to get my music out there? And, if I don't have music, how am I going to get fans? It's like the chicken and the egg scenario, right? Number two is that I couldn't tour. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time. I just couldn't do it. Number three was I didn't have a lot of money to invest into my music. Like I didn't have money to spend on radio promotion and get these agents and managers and all of this stuff. They're very expensive and I didn't think it was going to give me a lot of results. And the last thing was I didn't have a ton of time. For me, the only time I could spend on my music career would be, nap time when the kids were napping and, in the evenings and on weekends, right? And also try to have a life. I was also starting to feel pretty down on myself, like I had had no success with anything I tried yet. I'd already poured hundreds of hours into research and I was so discouraged. And I also was starting to think like, I don't know if I'm any good, you know? Like I know I have this calling. I know that it means a lot to me to do this, but if I don't have fans, like why, like, am I no good? And thirdly, I didn't know how to sell my music or anything. So I was feeling very insecure about selling. I didn't want to feel slimy and desperate when I asked people to buy my music. And fourth, I felt kind of defeated in this whole dead music industry. That's what everyone said it was. And since everyone on the news and the media just keeps telling us this over and over again, it really leads musicians to believe that, you know, you can't succeed. You can't make money in the new music industry. You can't support yourself as a musician. So I ended up having this really awesome light bulb moment one day. I started spending a lot of time researching and studying what the heck I could do to build my fan base online and generate a bit of income. I was discouraged, but I didn't give up completely, okay? So I was reading a lot. I had two motivating factors for this goal, okay? Number one was I needed to fulfill the destiny I couldn't ignore. This is why you're here right now, okay? Because I believe you, if you're listening to this today, you also have a calling in music. You have a destiny that you can't ignore. Doesn't matter if it's full-time or part-time, doesn't matter. If music has been gifted to you, you actually have a duty and an obligation to bring this to the world because it's not just meant for you. Your music is meant for the rest of the world also, okay? It's kind of a give and receive relationship. So that was number one. Number two was I genuinely wanted to self-fund my music. I didn't have a bunch of cash to like throw into a great recording and get this high quality thing. So I wanted to be able to self-fund it. And I also wanted to bring in a second income from my music. I wanted to go a little beyond self-funding. I wanted to actually bring in income if that was even possible. All right. So here's the thing. One day I came across a random article by a random guy who's now kind of famous for writing this piece. Maybe you've heard of it. Let me know in the chat if you have. It's called 1,000 True Fans by a guy named Kevin Kelly. He's kind of this Amish looking dude who was the founder of Wired magazine. Now, in his article, Kevin talks about the power of having 1,000 diehard fans. He called them 1,000 true fans. And his idea was that with 1,000 true fans, you can live a pretty darn good life. And he said, it's simple. You just need 1,000 fans to pay you $100 each. And then you have $100,000 a year. Now, I thought about it, and he was totally right about this. You know, granted, at the time, I didn't even care about making $100,000. Back then, if you showed me a way that I could make $10,000 or $20,000 consistently as a musician, you would have been my best friend. Who here has read this article? It's pretty awesome. You should definitely look it up. So I thought about this even more about how I could break this down in different ways because there's different ways you can slice this pie, right? So number one, you could have 1,000 fans paying you $100 a year. That's $100,000. You should screenshot this if you can because this is the key. You could also have 500 fans, super fans is what I call them, paying $200 a year. This is not hard to do because of all the different ways we can have income, all the different income streams. Plus, I mean, like I said, touring even outside of this. You could have 2,000 fans paying you $50 a year. That's $100,000. Or, hey, what if you had 3,000 fans paying $50? That's $150,000 per year. Or let's just go the other way and just even lower the bar for a minute. What if you had 1,000 super fans paying you $25 a year? Okay, that's like one t-shirt. That's 25 grand. Would you really complain about that? Like, would that be so bad? You know, like that, it would be a pretty amazing start to an online music career. And let me tell you something, that kind of money will change your life. That changed my life. Some of you, if you made 25 grand in your music business, that would change your marriage. That would change your family life. That would change your music career completely. That's exactly what it did for me. So tell me in the chat right now, how many super fans is your first goal? what's your very first income goal? So give me your number. Is it 1,000 times 100, or is it going to be, 500 times 100? Like, what's your first goal? Tell me in the chat. I'm going to read some of them out. I'm just very curious to see what your goal is, because everybody has a totally different goal. And the reason I'm bringing up money here is because the whole idea here is to make this sustainable. Corey says he wants 1,000 fans. Marlo says 5,000. Libya says 1,000 paying $25 a year. Ramel wants 250,000 a year. Okay. Lots of people are saying 1,000. So Julia said 2,000. Dave said 3,000 times 50 a year. Deja says first goal would be 500 fans. So you'd need 500 times 200. Okay. This is good. The reason this is important, I'm asking you to do this. If you guys happen to have a piece of paper nearby, I want you to actually write this down. You've written it in the chat, but I want you to actually write it down on a piece of paper. And the reason why is this. There's something that actually happens when you write something down, happens in your brain, and it's also you actually declaring a decision that you've made. And this decision, when I did this, that was the catapult for me in all the success I had in a very short amount of time after that, okay? And I'm talking just from music sales, okay? That does not include my academy at all. That's a completely separate thing. So I want you to know that making that decision, writing it down on a piece of paper is your very first step to actually making this happen, is deciding that. You made a tangible goal. So for those who have written it down, you're typing in the chat, that is huge. That is absolutely huge. And I'm proud of you for even just like making up your mind on something. Okay. So ever since I read Kevin's article, this is all I did. I put all my focus into that one thing, finding my 1,000 true fans. And here's what happened. After I read his article, everything I did shifted, and I started only doing things to build my audience of the 1,000 true fans. All the other busy work was pointless to me now. So I started doing things like learning social media, building my email list. I did crowdfunding campaigns, and I put his theory to the test for real. And to my shock and delight, I raised over $27,000 in a single crowdfunding campaign for an album I hadn't even written yet. Literally, I was earning royalties from digital sales. I was selling CDs all the time. This was a life-changing decision to only focus on my 1,000 true fans. Now, if you want to focus on 100 or 500 or 2,000, that's cool. Just make up the number, decide on that number, because from today on out, everything's going to be different for you, especially when you get to the end of this class and I give you all the pieces of the puzzle of what goes into building these 1,000 true fans, okay? This is life-changing stuff. Now, months later, things began to snowball from there, okay? From the time I made the decision, I'm just going to focus on this, and from the time I started implementing, everything started snowballing slowly, okay? This took hard work. This did not happen overnight. There's no magic pill for this stuff. But I crossed into the 6-figure per year mark. And don't forget, I am a stay-at-home mom. I don't tour. I only promote strictly online at this time in my music career. So this is absolutely doable. So here is a screenshot from my TuneCore account. In 2015, I made nearly $35,000 just from one stream of income, which was my digital sales and royalties. That was incredible to me. Like, I was blown away when I saw this. And especially considering this was only one of 5 streams I had set up. One of 5. And I teach one of all 5 streams of income in one of my main programs, the Online Musician. There's a whole module on setting these up. So just the digital, sales and royalties. Tell me in the chat right now, how would $35,000 worth of streaming revenue change your life? This is streaming. This is Amazon. This is iTunes. This is, all the different, Deezer and all the different digital stores and streaming sites. How would that change your life? You got to tell me, would that make a difference? Would you be able to fund an album from that? Would you be able to make a music video? Would you be able to live off of that? Like, it was a pinch me moment for sure. Just a couple of things. I mean, my page has just grown, my Facebook page specifically has grown leaps and bounds since then. Man. Oh, Deja says I could get a car and my own apartment and invest that money into my music. That's awesome. Jim said streaming or download sales, both. It's streaming and download, not from my website. This is from just digital stores, digital sales, right? Someone said I could stop doing another job. Travis said I could buy my time back to concentrate on music. Patricia said that would help a lot. I would want to cry tears of happiness. Penn said it would change my life completely. I would live my dream. Someone asked, are these techniques replicable by everyone? Well, the whole thing with this stuff, let me just tell you, everything that I'm teaching here today has completely, I mean, this is a blueprint and a framework that absolutely works. It's what you put into it, right? Because I can't make you do anything, but you can absolutely execute on this. Christina said, I could be more financially independent. Yeah. Demetrius said, I could get my life in order. Wilhelm said, my music project could be on the way. Daniel said it would help me be financially independent. Someone is asking, how did I promote my music via digital stores? Did you use Facebook? Hey, I'm going to get into all of that in just a second. I'm going to show you all the pieces of the puzzle. Paul said I could fund my music. Tiffany said it would totally make a difference. Chris said that would really help me spread my music with people worldwide. Absolutely. So anyways, here's my crowdfunding campaign. I raised it with only 657 people. I want you to pay attention to that, because one thing we're going to talk about in this webinar is how quality matters so much more than quantity when it comes to numbers of fans and things like that. That's why focusing on your 1,000 true fans or whatever number it is for you is a game changer. That's what changes absolutely everything. Another thing, which is just, this is not a brag at all, but I want to show you what's possible. At the moment, I'm doing between $5,000 and $10,000 every month just in merchandise. This is I use Shopify for my platform, and it doesn't matter what platform you use for the most part. This was for September merch sales. So this is an absolute pinch me moment, right? Like, so I'm currently doing this, guys. I'm not like, I didn't experiment with this and now I'm teaching people because I think I got the hang of it. I'm still doing this every single day of my life. I'm in the trenches with you doing this stuff, experimenting, spending money. I spend thousands of dollars on my investing into my music business to learn a lot more. So this is incredible, right? This is incredible stuff, what's possible. And remember, I don't tour, right? So for me, I have redefined my dream and what it means, okay? So no longer is it, oh, I have to have a record deal. I need to be worldwide famous. And instead, for me, my dream now means that I have a dedicated diehard base of super fans who can't wait to buy my next album, and they're literally drooling for anything I make. They're ready for it. They regularly buy merchandise from me. They join fan clubs. They show unbelievable support. And I'm actually famous, but within a tiny niche. I'm like niche famous, okay? So even my definition of what famous means has completely changed. And that's why when people say to me, like on a Facebook ad or something for this class, they're like, well, Leah, I've never heard of you. I'm like, I know. Isn't that awesome? Like I can be this successful and yet you don't know who I am because you're not into my niche. You're not into my world. You're not into my micro niche. We're going to talk about that. And that's the internet. Welcome to the new music industry, is that it's not about being a household name anymore. So at this point now, I've even had to hire a virtual assistant to help me part-time in my music business, just processing orders, answering fan mail, helping me with admin, because it's gotten overwhelming in a good way. And it's awesome. I feel like a legitimate music business because at this point I am. It's like my own label. I only work for myself when I want and how I want. I call the shots. It's awesome. Why would I ever give that up for a label contract? It would have to be so amazing, out of this world. But it's not even worth it. So yes, Oscar, I do make my own music. This is the most amazing feeling ever. This is where I want you to go. You've got to start imagining this for yourself. Your mind is so powerful. You've got to start owning this right now before I even get into technique and revealing all these things to you. I want you to start owning this for your career. Okay? Start owning this now. To not only have fans that love you, but they give your talent, your music the recognition it deserves. And it's not even limited to your local town. The whole world is waiting to discover your music if they know how to find you. So I want you to start just like claim that for yourself now, because we're about to get into some of the technique. Now, I learned the hard way first, okay? Before I had any of this success, before any of that, I made every mistake under the sun. First of all, I spent hours uploading my music to all the artist profile sites out there. SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, all that. Who here has done that? Number two, I got scammed by certain artist services that will stay unnamed that promised me exposure and licensing deals, all that kind of stuff that never amounted to diddly squat. And unfortunately, a lot of platforms like Reverb Nation offer all kinds of these things as well. Like, oh, submit your music and we'll give you this amazing review and we'll hook you up with this person. And, a panel of judges are going to listen to your music then, and you could get a record deal. There's way too much of this crap going around. Okay. And I fell for some of it. Thirdly, I spent time, money, and effort trying to get fans. Okay. Exposure, just trying to get someone to listen to my music. So I want you to let me know if you relate to some of these. Let me know. Which one of these did you do or are you doing right now? And you're like, God dang it, I'm totally making that mistake. John said he's uploaded, but he hasn't been scammed. That's good. Sherry said, I'm owning it. Okay, good. That's good. Patricia says, everything. Oh, no. All right. Now, I got to tell you, if you're thinking of taking your music to the next level, now is the time to do it. Whoa, I'm so excited about what's about to happen in the music industry. Okay, the IFPI.org, it's kind of a research site. They said that in 2016, the global recorded music market grew by 5.9%. That doesn't sound like much, but it's actually the fastest rate of growth since they started doing this research back in 1997. This is exciting. Here's a few other fun facts for some of you more data-minded people. One is digital revenue. Digital revenue overall grew by 17.7%, which increased it to $7.8 billion, driven by a sharp 60% growth in streaming revenue, the largest growth in 8 years. Pay attention to that. Next, 50% of revenue is coming from digital and streaming. This is why you should not fear digital or streaming sites. And I'm going to make a point about this in a minute. 34% of revenue is still coming from physical sales, hence why I'm pushing merchandise so much, right? I mean, you saw my monthly revenue right now just coming from physical sales. 14% is coming from performance rights. So that's your touring and all of that. So it's definitely a piece of the pie, but for me, it's not even in my equation at the moment. And number two comes from sync licensing. That's why I don't really spend much time on trying to get licensing deals. I don't spend money, uploading my stuff to Taxi. Nothing against those kinds of services, but they haven't done me any good. Where I made money was here, digital, streaming, physical, and then a few other ways that I go over in the Online Musician. I'm going to break it all down for you in this webinar here. So what does this mean? It means that fans are still consuming music. They buy music. It's only growing. What's changing, though, is the way that they are consuming it. Okay? And welcome to every market that exists on planet Earth. People, it's called, oh my goodness, what is it? Demand, right? Right? Supply and demand. That's what it is. That the demand starts to change and the way you supply it has to change. That's every market on planet Earth. So I don't know why we're all freaking out. But here's the deal is that it also means that we, the artists, must take responsibility for changing with the way the consumer wants to experience our music. I know that that's a scary word. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and we have to change with the way they want to experience our music. But I don't believe that we have to pledge ourselves to be starving and broke the rest of our lives. It's totally not necessary at all. So, why most are failing right now? Okay. Number one, You've been told that you need to be perfect. You've been told that you have to be basically both a musician and a model, that you had to be young, that you couldn't have 1% extra body fat on you. You had to be the perfect, age and shape and color and perfect everything. Well, those times have changed, okay? That was the old music industry when all we had was MTV and all we had was what they put into the machine and that's all what we could see. But now everything is different. If you've watched America's Got Talent lately at all, you can see the crowds love people with talent, regardless of what they look like. We totally eat it up because it's relatable. People want something authentic and real. They're very tired of all the commercialism. Number 2, why people are failing right now is that you were taught that if you work really hard and you play all the gigs possible and you eat, sleep, and breathe your music 24/7, and you do that for 10 to 15 years, maybe, just maybe, you'll have a chance. Now, that's actually perfect description of the old music industry because that is the way people used to get discovered. But it's old thinking now. If you're stuck in that, I gotta tell you, you've got to change your mindset because it's an outdated way of thinking. That's not the reality now, and I have the sales to prove it. Number 3, this one really gets me fired up and mad. The media has told you that if you really want to succeed, you need a record deal. And if you stay independent, no one's going to take you seriously. And if you're not signed, you're not a true artist and all of that. That is a complete lie. And I want you to tell me in the chat if you relate to any of these. Which one of these have you been told the most or do you relate to the most? Because I think it's important to identify this stuff now because if you're going to have success after today, by the end of this webinar, it is absolutely crucial that you first identify some of these myths that you have believed, some of the things that people have told you that you're like, dang, I definitely have, whether consciously or subconsciously. We're not even sometimes aware that we believe these things, but they're present in our mindset. It's present in the way we approach our whole music business. And it's just present in our lives in general. Jody says 3 is BS. That's right. I know. It totally fires me up. Mickey says all of the above. Susan says all 3. One person said all of them, especially age and looks. Man, I know. And that's like most of us are not, the youngest anymore, right? And a lot of us have thought, oh, well, if I'm over the age of 25, no label's going to look at me. Well, there's 2 things wrong with that. Number 1, you don't need a label. And number 2, there's a huge market that is aging along with you. Have you ever thought about that? There's a huge market that's aging with you, and they don't really care how old you are. Okay. So I want you to know that you are not alone here, that I've been through all of this already. I've come out the other side, and so many are experiencing what you are right now. I was exactly where you are now, and I learned 3 vital secrets through all the studying I did that catapulted me to where I am right now in my music career. Do you want to know those 3 secrets? I'd like to share them with you, but you got to let me know if you would like me to reveal them to you. Type yes in the chat. I want to know that you are energized and really ready for this, really ready to make a change, that you got a pen in your hand and you were like pumped to know this stuff. Let me know in the chat. Claire said yes. David said yes. Vanessa's like, yes, let's go. Travis, wow, this is awesome. You guys, you got to get me excited too. I can feel your energy through the computer screen, believe it or not. I know it sounds crazy, but like, I don't know. I think human vibes are, you can feel it through the screen. Like I can feel your energy. So I can tell you guys are excited. I'm excited for this. I'm ready to dive into a lot more of the technical parts of this. I'm not going to overwhelm you, but I am going to show you a high level view of every single component. Okay. Like I said, you're going to get the slides at the end of this, but I also recommend you write it down. You'll retain more. You'll retain more information if you write things down. Okay. Here are the 3 secrets I'm going to teach you. Okay. Number 1, how to stand out and attract fans to you like a magnet. Secret number 2, how to automate building your fan base 24/7, 365. Number 3, how to create a cash machine from your online business. Okay. This is where we get into a real business. Okay, now those 3 secrets have a direct connection to 3 phases of developing your music career. Okay, are you ready for this? And I'm going to explain everything, so don't leave. And if you're getting distracted, come back to me right now. Phase number 1 is your artist identity infrastructure. I'm going to explain this. Phase number 2 is your fan generation machine. And phase number 3 is when we accelerate and scale your results. And if you're like, what the heck, Leah? I'm going to explain all of this. I'm going to break it down for you. This is exactly how I built my 6-figure music machine in just a couple of years. Okay. Number 1, the artist identity infrastructure. The whole focus in this framework is building our foundation. We're focusing on our artist identity and an organic foundation. Okay, you can screenshot this if you want. In this phase, we're going into quality music. We're finding our micro niche. We're mastering social media, which is free traffic. Whoops. Here we go. Culture and community, our branding, and we're going to learn how to launch music online properly. Okay, you can screenshot that if you want, but if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you the slides and I'm going to break each one of these down for you in each phase. Okay, this is how it all started. Number 1, quality music. This is the very, very first thing you need. Okay, so if you don't have any music right now, this is going to be your first move. If you already have like 5 albums or 20 albums under your belt, this is the foundation, because without this, we're not going to make it very far. But here's the difference. We're not going to act like we're some big corporate label where we have millions of dollars to spend on promotion. They can promote mediocre music en masse and still come out profitable because they have that capital, right? But that's not going to work for us. Our approach is more of a grassroots movement. Okay. When you think of that, some of you might think of like, like a political movement or like, some kind of a, like the ice bucket challenge kind of a movement. It's something where people have an emotional connection to it and then they take action based on that emotional connection. That's exactly what we're doing with our music. It's a grassroots movement, which requires good music, high quality music. And I don't mean by that, like it has to be like, $30,000 recording, because you could have that and still have a mediocre song, right? So we're talking about music that actually moves the soul, that people have an emotional connection to. Nirvana had no budget when they recorded their first album. So quality of recording can, depending on your genre, can have some leeway there. It's the issue is, do you have quality songs that move people? That's where we begin. Next is your micro niche. This is the second thing you need. And I would say this is one of the most important parts of this entire phase. Here's what a micro niche is. And this is the whole concept, is that you can either be a small fish in a big pond, or you can be the big fish in a small pond. So you've got to realize that the internet, Spotify, YouTube is a giant ocean with other fish, which is your competition. It's much, much easier to be successful with a very specific group of high quality fans. So with a micro niche, you've got to ask yourself, what is your unique twist? It's probably something that sets you apart. What makes you different? Okay, but then we actually have an official name for it that people can find that's searchable. It's not something we completely make up out of the blue. Very rarely do people invent something that's already new, or that isn't, or invent something that is new that hasn't been done before. So just so you know, my umbrella genre at the very top is metal. And then it's symphonic metal, and then I dig deeper, and then it's female fronted metal. That's a subgenre for me. And then at the very bottom, it's Celtic folk metal or like fantasy folk metal, that kind of thing. So that's my micro niche, and I've really worked hard to define that. The key is not to be too broad, but not so specific that it doesn't exist, actually. But I have a special workbook for you at the very end of this webinar, so you don't have to like worry about figuring it out right this second. I just want to give you an overview of why this is so important, okay? Because this is how people find you and will be attracted to you like a magnet, is because they're already searching for this exact kind of thing. You've got to have your micro niche. It's a huge key in how I had so much success. All right. Next is social media. You've got to master this because it's free traffic. Okay. This is the next part of being a sustainable musician, is the ability to leverage your time. If you are short for time, if you feel stressed out because you've got a whole lot of other things going on in your life, let me know in the chat. Are you a busy musician? Because this is your key. You've got to leverage your time, and you need to be driving free traffic. So if you master this, you will get results. If you don't master social media, and I don't mean being on every platform that exists out there, I don't mean spending 5 hours a day on social media. That's not what I'm talking about. There's certain things that you can do that will get you big results. So if you don't master this, you're not going to get results from paid traffic. Okay, there's free traffic and then there's paid traffic. Paid traffic is advertising, and that's in the next phase I'm going to tell you about. So the entire goal of social media is to build your culture and community around your music. That's the next one. But just so you know, whenever you post anything on social media, it must do one of three things. It must either entertain, inspire, or educate people. Okay, it's got to do one of those three things. If it's just you going off on a tangent or airing dirty laundry or just sharing something that has nothing to do with your music whatsoever, you're not going to have good results. Next is so important. This was a game changer for me, was culture and community. It's imperative that you learn how to build a culture around your micro niche. It has a lot to do with who you are, what your music is all about, the common interests and hobbies that have to do with your music. If you end up like browsing around on my music page, you're going to notice I only post something about my music and merchandise 10 to 20% of the time. So if I post 5 times a day, only 1 or 2 times a day am I going to post something that I have to sell. Okay. So it's like the 80-20 rule basically. And this is a massive secret to success that I found, was really building a culture. It has a lot to do with, building a tight-knit community around a theme. You'll see a theme happening on my page. By the way, if someone lands on your Facebook page and they scroll for 3 seconds, and within 3 seconds, if they can't tell what you're all about, what kind of music you make and what you're all about, you are missing the mark. You've got 3 seconds to get people's attention, and they're going to decide very quickly if you are for them or not. And I can teach you exactly how to do that. Next is branding. Okay. This is where you've got to master your image and your brand, and it very much goes hand in hand with your culture. So one thing sometimes people don't realize is that your brand is not your logo. Your logo is a very small piece of that pie. Your logo should represent your image. It should be a good reflection of your image. It should be a reflection of your culture. And so it's actually all about who you are and what your music is all about, just like your culture, okay? Your branding is actually based on a feeling, and you want to have a consistent feeling across all platforms. So if your website looks a certain way and you use certain color schemes and fonts and certain photos that give you a certain impression, and then you go over to Facebook and it's something completely different, you're actually breaking trust with your potential fans. They're like, well, I thought you were like this, but now I go over here and is this even the same band? Like, they look like completely different band. So your branding and consistency, you need a way to find out how to even, identify your branding, and then how to make it consistent, like visually across all platforms. This is a huge piece of it. And then we learn how to launch our music online perpetually. Now, you've got to understand there's a right and a wrong way to launch your music online. Most people are just uploading their music to all the sites and then pressing a button and boom, it goes out there, and then they expect something to happen, sales to roll in. That's not how it works. That is called hope marketing, right? Where you upload it and then hope people will find you. Real marketing is actually predictable, repeatable, and scalable. That's something that they don't teach you in most music colleges. They do not teach you that. In fact, in a lot of business colleges, they don't teach you that. You can relaunch old music perpetually. Every day you can relaunch your old music. I don't care if you have an album that's 30 years old. There is a market for people who want to hear your music, but it'll be new to them because they have not heard it before. Okay, so here's just a quick recap of this phase of secret number one, how to stand out and make new fans notice you and attract them to you like a magnet, is having that quality music, mastering your micro niche, mastering social media, which is your free traffic, culture and community, building a consistent brand across all platforms, and learning how to launch music consistently online. We could end the webinar right now, and I would have given you so much information here, a blueprint for exactly what you need to go out to execute. Now, I got more for you. There's 2 more phases here. Let me know how you're feeling. Are you ready for more, or is your brain overloaded? If you're overloaded, just say, Leah, you're overloading me. If not, if you're like, okay, that was like an appetizer, give me more, let me know in the chat right now. I want to hear from you. How am I doing so far? Awesome. Okay, by the way, each one of these points that I brought up is a module in the online musician course, which I'm going to tell you about later. But each one of these, I spend like multiple lessons digging into how to actually bring all of this together. Okay. Okay, cool. Yay, you guys are ready for this. You can handle it. Right on. Okay, so I hear from my students. We have like thousands of students, and I love hearing from them all the time. One of these guys is a songwriter, Andy Watts. And he said, while using this system, I've developed a strong Facebook fan base. I've converted some of them into email list subscribers, and I've sold 300 copies so far of my latest album. It's more than paid for the course, so I'm calling that a win. Heck yes, that's a win. This is what we're talking about, self-funding your business. And I'm sorry if the word business scares you off, because some of us are not business people. I am not a business person. I did not fall out of bed being good at business. I've had to learn everything. I've had nothing handed to me. So I want you guys to know that all of this is doable and you can learn everything I'm talking about. Number 2, this second phase is the fan generation machine. Things start getting really sexy in this phase. I'm just going to tell you, it gets fun. The whole focus of this phase is automating and audience building. Okay, this is the focus. Because once we have that foundation, we can do a lot with that. Okay, so here, if you want to take a screenshot, you can. But again, like I said, I'm going to give you the slides at the end so you have it. We're getting into paid traffic. So we've already mastered free traffic. We've got our culture and community down. And so now when we go into paid traffic, it's going to work really well. At this point, we're building a big email list. We are email marketing. We are mastering the art of copywriting, which is like writing headlines and subject lines and basically anything promotional. We're getting into video marketing and other ninja strategies. So I'm going to break these down for you, okay? This is the promised land for musicians in the digital age. This is where you're going. About 95% of you on here right now are not ready for this stage, but you will be after you master the first phase. You will be after you master that online musician phase there. At this stage, new fans are finding you. Okay, so here we go. Paid traffic and Facebook ads. Let's talk about that. The first piece of this machine is based on the paid traffic. So we're talking about press releases, all the Facebook, even YouTube and stuff. But Facebook ads, I really want to focus on because it deserves its own category because of the power of Facebook. It's a big part of the machine. It's a big part of what I do. Like if I didn't have Facebook ads going, I wouldn't make the money that I do with my music business. They work amazingly well when you've mastered the first phase, which is the artist identity infrastructure. It's very, very important to do your research first. And there's a specific way you need to research. You can't just like slap something together. Well, I think my fans like these other bands. Yeah, but there's a lot more to it. So the goal is to make your ads super, super targeted so that you're reaching that perfect audience that is most likely to contain your super fans. There's a lot to this piece of the pie. And if you have the proper training, you can make a lot of money from Facebook ads. You absolutely can. And it does become addictive. I'm warning you now, it becomes addictive, okay? It's better than any kind of, like, if some people want to compare it to gambling or something, this is so much better because it's not gambling. It's highly researched. And the best part is it's your music, it's your art, and you get a return on your investment. So I spend thousands of dollars every month on my Facebook ads, but they're free. I don't pay 1 cent out of my pocket for them. Why? Because I'm making money from them. So I'm getting a return on my investment and I'm getting profit. So they pay for themselves. It pays for my virtual assistant. It pays for everything I need to take care of. And there's a profit at the end of it. That's the whole goal here. So there's a huge, huge potential for you that is completely untapped. Your potential is untapped right now because you don't know how to do this properly and make it profitable. But I can teach you how to do that. Second is list building. Okay. So with our Facebook ads, in addition to free traffic, we want to build a list of highly targeted fans. And the reason why is because you don't own your Facebook or your Twitter page or any of your social profiles. You don't own any of your followers' contact information. So if something happened to Facebook, if you get banned for some reason, it happens to people all the time. If you somehow get banned from your Facebook page or your Facebook page gets shut down or something happens, you will lose contact with all the followers that you have spent a lot of time and money building up. So it happened to MySpace, right? People had like millions of friends and followers on MySpace and then poof, it went away. Having said that, I don't think Facebook is going away. However, it's still a risk that we take when we're building these pages. I still build my page every single day, but I'm always, always, always building my email list. And regardless of what you think of email, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And every time you buy something online or Amazon or anything, the first thing you do is you check your email for that confirmation email. We're using it every single day for transactions. So it's not going away. And so your email list is yours. No one can take that away from you. You own that. And so that is a huge part of how we make income as musicians, is building relationships for the long term. And so you've got to think of building an email list almost like digital real estate. And yes, Oscar's asking, will you show us how? I absolutely will. I'm not in this webinar. We'd be here for a month because there's a lot to it. But I will show you later on how you can work with me more closely and learn all the things from start to finish of building an email list. So, hey, listen, the bigger, more targeted list you build, the more potential you have for an amazing album launch. Like think of like the next single you want to release, the next album you want to release, the next crowdfunding campaign you release. One of the reasons why I was able to raise $27,000 from 657 people was because I had an email list. I think my email list at the time was somewhere around 5,000 people. So it wasn't massive. I mean, that was a good size for where I was at the time, like a really good size. It was, I want to say between 3,000 and 5,000. So somewhere in that ballpark, and I was able to raise that kind of money mainly from email. There's a whole bunch of other things I did too, which I'll share with you later. And then besides building our email list comes the email marketing. Now, this is the relationship building aspect that's more focused on the long term than the short term sales. Okay. And the reason for this is like, you've got to think of email marketing like a dating relationship. You know, say you meet someone at the movie theater, you exchange phone numbers and you're texting back and forth. Well, let's say you're like really interested in the person and it seems like it's mutual. Okay, I think we really like each other, but then you never hear back from that person. And like you only heard from them one time and then you don't hear from them again. Well, what are you going to assume? You're going to be like, oh, okay, I guess they're not that interested in me. And soon enough, you forget about them. So email marketing is like a dating relationship where you're also not going to ask someone to marry you on the very first date. Yes, it happens in Vegas. And that's why they have, a select, church there just for people who meet and like get married an hour later. So a very small percentage of our fans will come and like buy our music the first day. That does happen, but the majority of people want to get to know us better, right? They want to get to know us over a period of time. They've got to kind of slowly buy in to our culture. And so we want to send fun and entertaining emails that engage our audience, right? So I have like a 12-week email series where I send potential fans, and I call them potential fans because I don't know if they're a fan yet. To me, they're a real fan when they buy something from me, or they write me a really excited email or a message on Facebook. I send them through like 12 weeks of stuff where I kind of gamify it. This is an advanced technique I'll talk about later. And I that's in my Superfan System course, where I talk about, I give people little tasks. I give them points, like experience points for doing certain things. I really engage them. And by the end of the 12 weeks, a lot of them are buying stuff from me. So it's very, very fun. We've got to make a fun experience through email. And so I've gotten such a great reaction from that. Very, very powerful. Next is the art of copywriting. Mickey said she didn't know email was effective at all. It totally is. It definitely still is. And in fact, some people say if you don't have an email list, you actually don't have a business. And it doesn't matter if you have like a lawn care business, if you're a photographer, if you're a musician, if you are a tax accountant or whatever. If you don't have an email list, you pretty much don't have a business. And the same applies to us. Okay. Next is the art of copywriting. We're still in phase number 2 in our fan generation machine, where we're automating and building our audience kind of on autopilot. So copywriting, we're not talking about like people stealing your songs and getting like your song copyrighted. That's a different spelling. This kind of copywriting is anytime basically you go to write an email, or you go to write a headline, or you go to write a Facebook ad and you have to write text in that ad, that is copywriting. You are copywriting. You are writing copy. That's just the noun that it's called. And what you've got to learn to do is master the art of persuasive text. It's what provokes people to buy stuff. Okay, I've gotten really good at it. But there's always so much to learn. And so basically, here's the deal. You can't avoid it. You're either going to be awesome at it or mediocre at it, or you'll suck at it, but you can't avoid it. You have to get this, you've got to get this under your belt. You've got to get a handle on it. And the good news is that you don't have to be a good writer. It's a skill that can be learned, and that there's some of the world's best copywriters out there didn't even graduate high school. So it's not about, being grammatically correct even. Some of the best copy that I write is grammatically wrong. The grammar Nazis would go nuts on some of my copy because it's so conversational. Sometimes I write in lowercase letters. Sometimes my email subject lines are all in lowercase letters, and I have funny, punctuation and emojis and stuff going on. But the thing is, it gets them to open the email. So at the end of the day, it's not about what is so correct and stuff. There are certain techniques that we definitely want to master, but it's about what will be successful, what will make people curious and get them to open the email. Billy says he's pumped. He's ready. Awesome. Juliet said, I have a flooring company. That's funny. Steve is my husband, by the way. If you guys are wondering, Steve is my husband. He is the operator here in Savvy Musician Academy. He cares very much about you guys. And he used to have a flooring company as well. And he did not have an email list. And there were times where work got so slow. And if he had had an email list of people who were thinking about maybe getting a floor done at one point, he would have had way more opportunity for, booking clients. Here's the thing that you're going to learn. Everything I'm teaching you here, all these principles apply across the board to any industry, any business, in your job right now, whatever you do for a living right now, all of this stuff applies. And I don't care if you sit at a desk and, you have like people over top of you, like you answered a whole line of people. If you get good at copywriting, next time you send an email to your boss or whatever, you get good at this, you will get promoted. Okay. So these are incredibly valuable skills that they don't even teach you in business schools. I hear about this all the time from my own students some of them are major marketing experts. And they tell me all the time, Leah, what you teach, we did not learn. And we would have paid like $100,000 to learn this stuff, but we didn't learn that in our business school, and we learned it from you. So that is incredibly encouraging. Next is video marketing, okay? This is going to be a very dominant form of media everywhere soon, if it's not already now. We need to learn how to use this to our advantage and understand the best practices to grow our audience, both organically and paid. So as an example, I recently used a lyric video to get millions of views on a cover song, and I did that in order to build my email list. Okay, so we're using all different kinds of media, video, images, songs. We're using whatever we can to build our email list. Now, this was really cool because I chose a song that crossed over into another little niche market. It was a video game market, and the video game is very aligned with my culture. So because of that, I was able to gain tens of thousands of new fans and thousands of new people on my email list just by using video and, you know, aligning that with my culture for exposure. So you've got to master video marketing. We can do a lot with video ads as well. Okay, next is some of these ninja marketing strategies that are working super awesome. So there's a lot of stuff that I can go into here, but I don't want to overwhelm you. But for example, retargeting. Again, this is the advanced stuff, okay? This comes after you've mastered that first phase, your artist identity infrastructure. Now, I can teach you stuff like retargeting. And retargeting or remarketing is when you keep seeing the same ad all the time. It starts following around on the internet. That might have even happened to you for this webinar when you just saw my ad like a whole bunch of times and then you finally signed up. Well, we can do that with our music because oftentimes people are interested in things, but they just are distracted. They're busy. They're scrolling through the news feed. There's a lot going on and people are seeing like 3,000 ads a day, commercial ads a day. And so sometimes they need to see things repeatedly to remind them, oh yeah, I wanted to take action on that. Oh yeah, I wanted to sign up for that thing. And I'm just busy. Oscar says, I'm screen shooting everything. That's so funny. But don't forget, I am going to give you these slides. Carol, video is not expensive. Carol thinks it's expensive, but it's not expensive. My music video, don't do this now, but later, if you can go to my music video, I think I have it pinned to the top of my page. It's facebook.com/Leah the Music. My video, it has like 2.7 million views right now at the time of, you know, this webinar. That video cost me like $25 to actually make it. And the $25 was a green screen that I bought off of Amazon. I already had a camera on hand. And then I spent like a few $100 to get it edited, by a really great guy. So I didn't do it myself. So that video was not expensive, and yet I was able to generate millions of views, and I have thousands of new email addresses just from that video, and the exposure was invaluable. So it does not have to be expensive, and video ads don't have to be expensive. So I want to encourage you back to ninja marketing strategies here, is that we can do some really, really cool things. Like uploading our email list. This is one thing we'll do with our email list is we upload that to Facebook, and then we can show ads to the same subscribers who are on our email list. Do you know why that's so powerful? It's incredibly powerful because number one, not everybody's always going to open their email, but we want to be, in the marketing world, we call it top of mind, which means when they go to think of, oh, what do I want to listen to today? Or, oh, I was thinking of buying some new music. I don't know what to buy. Does anybody know of like a good artist? I need some new music. When they have seen you in their newsfeed over and over again, you're going to be top of mind. Your album will be top of mind, and that's going to be the first thing they go to. It's a very high-level strategy. It works regardless of the industry or the genre that you're in. Okay, I don't care if you're hip-hop, if you're country music, if you're metal, it works regardless. And one guy said, these are the same techniques I use to sell products on Shopify. Heck yes, because these are general online marketing principles, and I just happen to really tweak these and hone it in for me as a musician. John said, are you making money with YouTube with the views? I mean, some. I mean, that's not where the majority of my income comes from. I do make some royalties with it. But what I love about YouTube is the free traffic. So you'll notice on my YouTube channel, I always have a description where people can get something for free. So I'm constantly building my email list. I also have a couple of videos on YouTube that have millions of views. Not that you need millions, by the way, you don't. I was making six figures long before I had millions of views. So it was more about the quality of views. So I don't want you guys getting hung up on the numbers, okay? Numbers are good, but they're not the be all and end all. So I want to get back to this point here. Another cool ninja thing that we can do is create something that's called a lookalike audience that Facebook will actually create that are similar to people who have done something, okay? So we can create, so Facebook starts creating audiences based on people who have engaged on our page. They create an audience anytime someone watches your video. So they basically keep track of who is doing what. We can create a lookalike audience based on people who are similar to the people we have on our email list. And I even have, so I use Shopify for my platform. People, you might use Bandcamp or something else. But I have like a list of all my customers. Well, I can upload my list of customers, people who have spent money on my merchandise, and I can upload that to Facebook, and I can say, Facebook, I want you to create me an audience that looks like, you know, is very similar to the people who have spent money with me already. And they will create a whole new audience. And usually it's like 3 million people or something pretty huge. It's incredibly powerful stuff. I can show you how to do all of this. And again, this comes in the advanced phase of the fan generation machine. When you have mastered that first phase. And a lot of people think they may be ready to jump into all this, but I guarantee you there are some crucial golden nuggets that you need to master in that first phase before moving to the fan generation phase. And by the way, each of these things we went through is also a module in the Superfan System course. I will tell you about all this later. I'll give you information on all of this later, but I want you to know that each of these has its own module because there's so much involved with each of them. I break it down. I make it as simple and easy to understand. Other courses out there, like say you just took like a regular Facebook course, there's so much that we don't need as musicians. It doesn't apply. And frankly, it's incredibly confusing. There's nobody teaching it the way I teach it. So one of the things I love is hearing from students who are applying these things in other, ventures that they have got going on. So Ryan is one of them. And he said, I've been applying all I'm learning to both my guitar teaching business, cool. So he's teaching lessons and launching my music. And he said, my teaching has taken off since I've been promoting and targeting my ads. And my student videos have not only doubled my student base, but earned my badge from lessons.com. And now I'm recognized as one of the best teachers in my state. And so, and he said that I'm pushing this stone. I'm ready to start working on my music more now that my business is blowing up. So it's hilarious that him going through all the stuff and learning from, my courses here actually caused his other business to blow up. And we've heard this a whole bunch of times with people teaching lessons and doing other things. So it's really, really awesome. Let me know how this is going. Are you guys encouraged right now? Are you excited about your untapped potential? Let me know in the chat if you are excited about all the stuff that you can do that is available to you. I'm just reading your comments right now. Are you guys excited? Yes. I'm seeing everybody's very excited. Kenneth says very excited. Ronnie, Willem, yes, go. Woohoo. Awesome. Okay, let's get into the third phase, which is the acceleration and scaling phase. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here because quite frankly, most people aren't here yet at all. I'm myself coming into this phase here, but this is the strategic phase you're going to work towards. The whole focus here is really becoming a real business. And at this stage, you're like, I'm my own label. I mean, you are your own label now, but this phase, it's going to feel very legit. Like I'm making money, I'm investing money back into it, and it's just like perpetuating the results. So I want to cast some vision for you because you're not here yet, but this is your future. At this point, at this stage, you are using more advanced style advertising. You are almost getting into an e-commerce style of selling your merch, which is what I'm doing now. That's why my figures are so high, between $5,000 and $10,000 a month just from my e-commerce style of pushing my merchandise. And that relies on the fact that I have built my culture and community so well. I've dialed it in so well that this is why it works. I'm using things like Facebook Messenger bots, which increasing my engagement rate like through the roof. I've like doubled my sales from using this. At this point, you're also making a very steady income. So you can kind of predict from month to month what your income might look like. You're also investing in your business. So for every, $10 you make, you're putting $5 back into it, and you're scaling your music. Like at this point, when you go to do an album launch, it's going to be a bigger and bigger deal, and you're going to have to operate more and more like your own label. And so it gets very exciting here. When you get to this stage, I will like fly to your house and like put a party on for you, because this is a big deal. Congratulations. Like, you're doing what almost no other musicians are doing yet. And you've gone the distance, you put in the work, and the results are speaking for themselves. And this is when you're really going to see all the work that you've done start to pay off. And it's incredibly exciting. Like I said, many of my students, they're still working up to the phase. And I myself am in this phase right now. I've just gotten to this phase. And so like I made 6 figures long before I got to this stage. So just so you know, like you can make money before you get here. You can make money in phase 1. But this is where it's like, oh yeah, this is like this is the real deal. I feel like a real business. Okay. This is where we're going toward. Okay, so hey, Letitia said, I finally have a clue as to how to be a successful independent musician and actually make money from it. I've always worked so hard on the creative side that I fell down in the business and marketing side. And Leah's filled in the blanks for me and given me info that not even a $12,000 vocal course has given me. So thanks again, Leah. I just love hearing from my students. I'm so proud of them. So real quick recap, and then we'll jump into Q&A in a little bit here. You now know all my music career secrets. We learned that there is hope. We learned that the music industry is about to explode, and now is the time to make it happen. We learned that to make it in the new music industry means redefining the dream. We learned that succeeding means first starting with that foundation number 1, that artist identity infrastructure, and then moving towards automating the fan building process, and then ramping up the sales after you're fully equipped. And that anyone with talent and determination, and that's the one thing I want to see in you, is that determination. If you have that, you can do this. And we saw several case studies of students who are doing this very thing now. So let me ask you, I know we had limited time. I wanted to respect that, okay, and get you as much information as I could. Given the time we had, how did I do? Did I do a good job of giving you great information that even if you left right now, that it would allow you to see what you could do with your music and how you could proceed? Let me know in the chat by saying yes or no. If I totally sucked, you can tell me that too. But I hope that I was able to give you guys awesome information. So let me know. I'm quaking in my boots. Let me know how I did. I'm seeing the chat fill up with yeses. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm glad. Marlo says it's very inspiring. Candy says, yes, thank you so much. Jerome says, yes, yes, yes. Alexander said, yes. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I know it's a lot of information. There is a lot. Okay. I made this slide in advance. Yay. Awesome. So I think you guys know that what I've shown you today is a small part of a much bigger plan, but I wanted to give you as much as I could in about an hour. And I wanted you to see this from a high level viewpoint so you can understand the potential you have that is completely untapped right now. So I'm going to take a few minutes now and introduce you to a few of our students here in a second. But I want you to ask yourself if you're motivated, okay? So here's Ted Yoder. Do you guys remember Ted Yoder? He had a viral video, one of the most viral videos on Facebook in last year. He has right now like 120 million views on this little video he did in his backyard. It was a Facebook Live. And he told me, Leah, if I hadn't taken your course, I never would have even been inspired to do a Facebook Live video. So I will never take credit for what you do, just so you know. I'm never going to say, look what I did. I did not do anything. I won't have anything to do with what you do. I am here to inspire and to be your guide. You are the hero in this, and Ted is the hero in this. And he said after 6 years of very slow growth, we had only 915 fans on our email list. In only 3 months of joining the Online Musician, we grew our email list to over 4,000 fans. We have 265,000 Facebook likes. He's got a lot more than that now. And at the time, he had 14,000 YouTube subscribers. And like he said, he had a video go viral within like 50 million views within 3 days, which was crazy. And so he said, if that's not a great return on investment, I don't know what is. So that was really awesome. And then Taylor Messplay, we love Taylor. He said, I've been a recording artist for over 20 years. This guy has written over 3,000 songs. And he told me that it's been increasingly difficult as a musician for himself being in the industry. And he said, SMA has been an incredible resuscitation of hope as well as my recording career. I'm starting to see incredible results. I've made more money in the last month with the sale of recorded music than in the last several years combined. And it's only picking up every day. Thank you, Leah. I mean, I am honored that I have anything to do with this. I'm so honored. Like I said, I'm your guide, but you are the musician. You are the hero. You're the one who's going to be doing this. So Ty Richard also said, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, a producer. Don't you love his photo? That's hilarious. And like, it's so his personality. I love it. But he said, before I started the Online Musician, I had no plan. I had a bunch of songs done and recorded, but nothing mixed and nothing ready to send out to the world. Months later, I have songs done. When I first started, I had 50 fans who were friends. They're not really fans. Now I have about 10,000 fans and all people who really love my genre and my music. This is all due to this class. I've been doing music my whole life. For the first time, I have real fans. My micro niche is defined. I know who I am. I had my own business and I was horrible at this stuff when it comes to music. I highly recommend this class. I think that's very funny because we do have a lot of business owners who they're like good at what they do in business, but couldn't quite make it work in their music. They couldn't figure it out. And that's because it's art and it can be tricky and tough to make it work. So like I said, I want to ask you, are you motivated? Do you think that learning this system is something that can work for you? I want you to type yes in the chat. Do you think that learning this system is something that can work for you? And imagine if money was no object, is this something you need to be doing? I'll wait for your responses in the chat. Is this something you need to be doing if money was no object at all? Okay, I'm seeing it filled up with yeses. Why? Yes. This gives new meaning to the old term self-realization. I love it. Yes. Alexander says yes. Kenneth says yes. Right on. So here, I want you to imagine your future as a musician. Can you imagine what life will be like when you know how to attract fans to you 365 days a year? Can you imagine what it'll be like not having to worry if your next album is going to sell? Can you imagine what life will be like when you are actually famous to a small but loyal and enthusiastic fan base and you can grow it from there? What will it be like getting recognition that your music deserves and feeling important from people who are truly moved by what you make and they actually appreciate it? What will it be like when you don't have to sell your fans anything? The system does it for you. And what will it be like when you make your first $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in online music sales? What would that be like? You've got to imagine this. Can you imagine this happening? Because if you can, it's possible. And you know that I can help you get there. Okay, I want to introduce to you the SMA Tribe, the Savvy Musician Academy Tribe. This is a complete step-by-step system to create, launch, and market your music online the right way to help you create a sustainable income through your talent, explode your fan base online, and fulfill your calling as a musician. Now, there's actually 2 tiers, and I'm going to tell you about them both. We have the foundational level, which is the SMA Tribe, and we have the advanced SMA Tribe Pro. I'll show you the difference between the 2. So here's what you get with Tribe. Okay, we're actually going to cover the first phase, that artist identity infrastructure. It's a full online musician course that I talked to you about already. We actually went through the modules. You're going to learn through 6 modules how to create your quality music that fans will adore. You're going to figure out your why, your goals, and your success plan, what's going to work for you. You're going to identify your micro niche, which is the key to making any of this work. You're going to learn how to create your music brand and image. You're going to learn to master social media and drive free traffic. You're going to learn how to launch music online the right way in 4 strategic phases. And it's funny because most musicians only know about 2 of them, and the other 2 are very important. And if you're not doing them, then your launch isn't going to be very exciting or great the way you hoped. You're going to learn how to build a buzz and momentum even after your launch. And you're going to learn how to relaunch old music. Now, in addition to all that, that's just in the 1 course. In addition, you're also going to get a private forum of musicians on the same path as you. You are as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I absolutely believe that to be true. And so you need to be on the same path. You want to surround yourself with people who are also as determined and willing to do the work as you. I'm also doing monthly coaching, okay? Monthly Q&A coaching where you can submit your questions to me if you're stuck on something, and I will help you. You're also going to get student reviews and hot seats. This is more almost like similar to like a one-on-one coaching thing where I take your stuff and I review it. I'm going to look at your Facebook page and your website, and I can review like, you know, your ad copy and maybe where you might be getting stuck, and it can really help you on a more personal level. Also, we've got monthly challenges, we've got rewards, and we have discounts or other programs when you're a tribe member, as well as access to all our staff support. Now, here's what you get with Tribe Pro. You're getting everything I just said, okay? So you're getting the online musician course and the forums and all of that. Now, on top of that, you're also going to get phase 2 of the fan generation machine phase, which is the super fan system full course. Okay, there's going to be 6 modules that take you through all that stuff. Audience research, getting inside your fans' heads, the copywriting, so you know how to write and speak those magic words that get your fans to buy. You're going to learn email marketing, how to build that lifetime relationship with your fan, list building and that sexy data, how to create landing pages that convert and get hundreds of new potential fans every week. And I will take you through a whole module of advanced Facebook ads for list building and selling a ton of music. Now, in addition to that, you actually get your own separate advanced forum of elite musicians. You get an advanced monthly coaching Q&A. You get advanced monthly student reviews, hot seats, and you still get the rewards and discounts. So that is really, really exciting. Now, you might be thinking, this is great, Leah, and I know I want to do this, but I don't currently have any fans. I don't even have professionally recorded music yet. What am I going to do? Well, I've put together a special bonus for you for your very first steps on how you can start building a fan base and get exposure. So even if you don't have anything recorded yet, or you don't even have a professional Facebook fan page yet, I'm going to take you from ground zero and I'm going to make you a hero. Well, you're going to make you a hero. It's the 0 to Hero starter guide, okay? So I'm going to teach you how to start building that fan base from nothing, how to get exposure for free, how to get some viral action for free, and even how to raise some cash for your first real recording, okay? So here's what you get all together when you're a tribe member, okay? You're going to get the forum, the coaching, the student reviews and hot seats, access to the online musician course, access to the superfan system, which is Tribe Pro. You get the rewards and the discounts and all of that. And you're going to get this bonus, the Zero to Hero starter guide that's really going to get you going. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's awesome, Leah, but it sounds like this is going to take me a lot of time and I have an extremely busy life. What if I don't have enough time or energy to put this into, to really see the results? Well, I completely understand, because welcome to my life. I've got an incredibly busy life, as you know. I've got 5 kids. I have my own music business. I run Savvy Musician Academy. I deal with time management regularly. So I've taken some very elite training from multimillionaires who have shared their habits and ways with me, and have found a way to work it for us as musicians. Now, this is your second bonus, okay? It's a short class that I'm including called the Busy Musician Bootcamp. I will show you how to find the time and find the energy to work on your music when you already feel like you're tapped. I will show you how to get creativity flowing when you're running on fumes. And I'll show you just a few tweaks in your daily habits that will completely free you up and drive creativity through the roof. Okay, these are some light bulb moments that will seriously change your life. Okay, so that's bonus number 2 for you. Here's now what you get. You get all of this stuff. You get the online musician, the super fan system, the advanced stuff, plus these 2 bonuses. Of course, this depends on if you are Tribe or Tribe Pro, okay? But regardless, you're going to get these bonuses. But maybe you're thinking, okay, I like that there's like a starter guide, there's a time management class. That's really going to help. But what about my budget? Like, I really want to commit to this, but money is tight right now. Well, number 1, there is a module in the Online Musician which teaches you how to set up 5 streams of income. And that's related to your music and your talent. But besides that, I also wanted to give you some cash generating ideas that will help you to afford to work with me each month, okay? So I'm also including for you the Easy Cash Generation Idea Guide. You need this anyways. This is so you never have to worry about how to come up with the money to support your music marketing education or your music career. I've been there. I started my music career with nothing. I did not have any extra cash at all. So I understand how it is. And I am giving you a guide so you can find out how to find the cash you didn't know you had, how to make anywhere between $100 to $500 extra per month, depending on how many of my tips you use, and just some side money making ideas so you don't have to worry. Okay, because I don't want you to go in debt. I don't want you to be struggling. Nobody should have to struggle. So here's what you get all together. You get the private community, the coaching, all of this stuff, the courses, these 3 bonuses. This is getting pretty juicy. I have another thing. You might be thinking, okay, so I'm getting these comprehensive programs of how to record, launch, and market my music. I'm getting this Zero to Hero starter guide. I'm getting a time management class. I'm getting a cash generating idea guide so I don't have to worry about affording this class. But Leah, what if I need to raise a lot of money, for my next album or music video? Can you help me? Well, I have a special bonus for you too. I am going to give you my successful crowdfunding tips, which is very, very exciting. I have done 2 crowdfunding campaigns. One of them did not succeed very well. The second one was off the charts. So I'm going to show you how to create a winning campaign. What I did between the 2 was very, very different. Why crowdfunding is an essential part of marketing. Even if you don't think you should do one, I recommend doing one because it really helps build your fan base. How to pick and choose those contributor rewards and perks, how to manage fulfillment of those perks. That's a whole other side of it. I had to learn the hard way. How to generate the most traffic to get to your campaign and all of that. So that is pretty awesome. So here's what you get all together, okay? These 4 bonuses. This is crazy. Oscar, hold on. You're seeing these values that I've put on all of these things. I'm not going to sell it for that, okay? I'm not. But tell me right now, if money was no object, would learning all of this to fulfill your calling and dream as a musician be worth it? Pretend you had the money. You should all be saying yes, okay? Pretend that you had the money and that money was no object. Would this be worth learning all of this, even if it did cost that much? If you're saying yes, John says, Okay, my visa's ready. Roy says, here it comes. Carol says, yes, yes, of course, yes. Oscar said yes. So you agree that even if it was this much money, it would be worth learning all of it. So the question is then about making it affordable for you. Okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And you might ask, Leah, why do you put a value on all these things? Are these like made up numbers? Heck no. This is exactly what it would cost to work with me one-on-one over a period of time for consulting, okay? Like if we work together one-on-one coaching through all of the steps of the artist identity infrastructure, that's what it would cost. If we work together one-on-one through the fan generation machine and I helped you with your micro niche and your branding, your email marketing and your copy, your advertising, I was coaching you, giving you answers, doing the research, that is exactly how much it would be, which by the way is still a fraction of what people pay for managers and music colleges that still don't teach in this stuff. Business colleges don't teach this stuff. So, hey, if you've ever hired a coach for anything, it's not cheap. I have coaches. I have a personal trainer that is not cheap, but I pay it because I get the best results, right? It holds my feet to the fire. It keeps me accountable. But I'm not offering one-on-one coaching because as much as I enjoy it, it doesn't help change the larger music industry because then I'd be limited only helping a few people at a time. What I want to show you is how to do it yourself. And I said I wanted to make this ridiculously affordable, and I'm going to do that. Okay, so very special opportunity while you're on this webinar right now is that if you learn to do it yourself, and because you're serious, I'm going to make this affordable, okay, while still keeping the lights on here at SMA. So I've decided to offer all of this for the ridiculously low price of $57 a month for the Tribe level and $97 a month for the Tribe Pro level. And that includes both the online musician and the advanced super fan system. So you're going to master both those first two phases. You can easily get to six figures, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want to do by mastering those two phases. It's absolutely doable. So this is crazy, crazy, inexpensive and affordable. The only thing I ask from you is this. I ask for you two things from you in exchange for that, okay? Number one is that you commit to at least 6 months of truly giving your all. Don't do this with one foot in the door. I want you to be all in. I want you to really try. And, you know, this is not a magic pill. You've got to think long term. I didn't get to where I am overnight. So listen, if you're not willing to commit at least 6 months to your dreams, to doing this for you and your music, I'm actually going to ask you not to sign up. I know that might be crazy, but I don't want your money if you're not going to actually do this. Okay. I want serious musicians only. Number two, I ask that you promise to share your case study with me. After you go through the course and you apply all the training, you will then be the leader in the music industry. You're going to be a marketing expert in your genre, in your music. You will be the music marketing expert. All I ask is that you allow us to encourage others with your story. That is awesome. Hey, I'm excited. Now, in the future, we're going to be offering all of this for a higher price. Absolutely, for sure. It will be going up. So that's why we're looking for serious musicians right now who are willing to go through the programs and get the results, because we want more case studies. We got to show the world how untapped the potential is out there in the new music industry. So that's why I say serious musicians only. That's why it's so inexpensive, is because we want those case studies. We want people doing this and getting the results. I have one last fast action bonus, okay? This is for all of you listening right now who know that you tend to procrastinate. This should light the fire into your butt. If not, I don't know how to help you. Okay? It's the first 50 people to sign up today, right now, are going to get my popular mini course called 10,000 Fans in 7 Days, where I actually show you how to use a very simple Facebook ad strategy. And it's going to attract thousands of new real fans to your Facebook page within days. And some of them are within hours. It's not a gimmick. We're not buying fake likes. There's nothing fake about it. They're real people, real profiles, real potential fans, okay? We're going to be using the algorithms to our advantage to do this. It's 100% legitimate, and it totally abides by Facebook's terms of service. I have thousands of students who are using this right now, and their page engagement has gone through the roof. And I have hundreds of testimonials of the same result over and over and over. I cannot post them all here. We'd be here for a month. So the first 50 people to sign up today, my staff are going to keep track of you, and you will be gifted that mini course. It will literally show up in your dashboard when you log in. You're going to see it right there that says 10K 7 Ds, 10,000 fans in 7 days. Okay. You're going to see that. Now, I have just a couple other things I want you to consider. How much would it mean to you to add another 10,000 highly targeted fans to your Facebook page? Like, not looky-loos, not people who don't care, but people who really want to see your music. They want to hear you, they want to be engaged with you. What about adding another 3,000 to 5,000 new email subscribers that you can market to any day of the week, or launch a crowdfunding campaign, or launch your new single? What about fans who recognize and adore your music from around the world that you've never met? And very importantly, how much time, frustration, and money would it save you to have a shortcut to those things? Okay? I want you to imagine that. Because here's another thing. Can you learn some of this stuff on your own? Sure. I spend tens of thousands every year on continuing my education. And I can tell you that the best information out there is not on YouTube and Google. You're only going to get tiny pieces of disjointed information. You have to try and piece together like some kind of 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. That's exactly what I was doing the hard way. So if you like to spend tens of thousands of dollars to figure it out, go for it. Have fun spending hundreds of hours doing that and being all alone by yourself to boot. I'm offering you a giant shortcut to what works for musicians right now, because I'm doing it. I'm in the trenches with you. You are going to succeed when we do this together. So it'd be really silly for you to try and go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars learning all that when you can skip that and have a thorough, organized support system of coaching and peers who take you all the way through your music goals. So if you haven't already, you're going to click the button on the screen here, and that's going to take you over to this page. So just click that Join Now button. You can choose where you want to start at. If you want to be on the foundation level or if you want to be on the pro level. Now, definitely do what, you can always upgrade to the pro level later if you're worried about that, but you're going to then decide if you want to do monthly or annual. We do have an annual option. For some people prefer that. And we made it a little bit cheaper. So if you want to join annually, it'll be like saving a couple of months, or you basically like getting a couple of months for free. So it's definitely a cheaper option, but some people love doing the annual or the monthly option. So that's definitely an option for you. Next, you're going to enter in your information when you choose your option, and then you're going to be sent a couple of emails. You're going to get your confirmation, you're going to get your course login information, and all your details. So that's what will happen next. I just wanted to give a quick little message, a little welcome to Ian. Welcome, Lindsay. Welcome, Kenneth. Welcome, Nathan. And a big welcome to Jeff. And we have a whole bunch of people joining right this second. But just a quick welcome, you guys. Welcome to the Savvy family, the Savvy Musician Tribe family. A big hug from me to you. I can't wait to be working with you every month and help you really get to the next level. Here's just a little sneak peek inside. You're going to see if you join the tribe level, you will automatically see like a dashboard. Once you log in, there's a dashboard up here. Here's your courses. You can view all the members. We also have groups in here, like accountability groups, like for the spring and fall. If you're releasing an album in the spring or the fall or something, you have a group where people are going through the same things that you are, and they're planning out their launches. And so we've got really, really cool stuff happening. So your dashboard might look something like this. We are making tweaks and changes constantly to always make it better. So if for some reason you see this and it looks different, that's why. If you join the Tribe Pro level, you might see the Superfan system and the online musician course, the Busy Musician Bootcamp class. And Jim says, hey, that's my picture. Hey, Jim. Some of our students are here hanging out with us today. And, but like I said, we're always tweaking and making things better. So it might show up a little bit different. And when you click, for example, on the online musician, there's a welcome video where I show you what to do. There's a place to ask a question where you submit your question based on what you're learning in the modules. We post the coaching videos here where you can comment on that. And we also tag you too. Like if you couldn't make it to the live recording of the Q&A, I'll actually tag you later saying, hey, Dawn, I answered your question and it's at this timestamp, so you can get in there and get your answer. We also have monthly challenges happening and I've got goodies inside. It's going to be awesome. These are just an example of one of our forums. We have a couple different formats. You can see all the forums, but we've got places for introductions. If you want to meet up with other savvy musicians in your local area, we have a meetups place. We've got a place for just helping you discover your micro niche, and some people who are very experienced in there. So it's pretty awesome. And our monthly challenges are great. Some months we might go through a book together. It might be a social media challenge where I, share some things I recommend posting, that kind of thing. Yeah, so we're going to jump into Q&A time here. And I just wanted to share with you, thank you, first of all, for spending this time with me. I just want to honor everybody who was here and took time out of their day, shuffled their schedule around to be here. It is my honor to just share with you all the things that I know. My head is filled with so much information and knowledge and things that I'm learning constantly on an everyday basis. And it is such a pleasure and an honor to be able to, impart all of that to you. And I just thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I can't wait to answer your questions now. We are going to be also doing our second cash giveaway prize in just a little bit here. So everyone who stay on here. You still have a chance to win something. We are going to start answering some questions now. Okay. We have Deja said, what if we don't have our own original songs yet? We're only able to do cover songs. Can we still make money off of that? Yes, you can, Deja. There's some things that I recommend in the course. Like there's some legal things you will have to take care of, but you absolutely can. There's several artists out there who have become very famous, very wealthy, just from doing cover songs. One of them is, what's that vocal band? And I forgot it. Last time I gave this class, I forgot it too. Someone asked the same question. It is, I want to look in my Spotify account because it's great. But anyway, they cover vocal, like they do vocal covers, right? So they're like a vocal band. It's like everything is just vocals. And, it's like on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, they have done very well. Like they do Christmas songs. They do other people's cover songs. It's really, really good. The piano guys got really famous and wealthy from doing cover songs. They give their own twist. There's a kind of like this metal band called Apocalyptica. They're all on the cellos. They're all instrumental and they cover like all Metallica songs. But they like rock out on their cellos and they hook them up to their amps and stuff. And so it sounds like really cool. What's the concert we're going to soon? Lindsay Sterling. She's the violinist. She does a lot of instrumental versions of cover songs too. Now, not all of these have to be instrumental, but they're all doing their own thing, doing cover songs, doing very, very well. So you absolutely can. And hey, before we get too far here, so you guys know, I promised that you would get a download of the slides today. And I also promised you that you would get a workbook for how to find your micro niche. Those two things are on the page where you go to sign up. So what you do is you click on the page, on the link here in the chat, where it takes you over to getsuperfans.com. So you go to that page and you scroll down to the very bottom of that page, and there's a button at the bottom that says download. And so that's how you can get those two things. So, if you want to hang out, I'm going to be answering your questions. I'll stay as long as I can to answer as many questions as I possibly can, but that's where you go to get those downloads. Charlie, you want to do the 0 to Hero Starter Guide? That is not available on its own. That is just a bonus for people who join today, okay? So if you join, that will be inside. I do not offer that on its own. Marlo said, are you planning one show for all your fans? Not at this time. I'm not. I'm very busy doing what I do as a recording artist at the moment. I'm actually right in the middle of finishing my 4th album right now. I'm in the middle of recording vocals and finishing that up. So I don't plan on doing shows now. As I build my fan base around the world, it's kind of cool because I'm doing things backwards. I'm going to create more and more demand around the world. By the time I'm ready to go on tour, it will pay for itself. I will crowdfund my entire tour because I've got such a niche, demanded, a demanding fan base. Are like, we need to have you come to our city. Well, I'll be able to crowdfund that and pre-sell tickets and do all of that so that I'm not actually having to put money out of pocket and I'll be profitable. So I'm not too worried about that yet. Julie said, do you get into the booth and get nervous at all on how to cope and sing that in the shower music? Yeah, but I do a lot of talking to myself. I know that sounds funny, but mindset, I'm really, and this is something I'd love to coach you on more inside of the tribe, especially for coaching day. I talk a lot about mindset and a lot about things that I struggle with as a musician, the things we say to ourselves and the way that we coach ourselves has a huge impact on the outcome. So if I say, oh, I'm really nervous and I really don't know if I'm going to be a good singer in the booth today, guess what's going to come out, right? Whereas if I tell myself, this sounds totally weird, my vocal teacher, I pay for coaching too, guys. My vocal coach counseled me and said, you actually have to say to yourself, I am the best singer I've ever heard. And you have to think that and you have to mean it and you have to believe it. And guess what? She said, when people do that, I know it sounds conceited and everything, but when you do that, the sound in your voice completely changes. And I've experimented with this recently while I was recording vocals. And when I did that, my takes, I got those money shots, those takes that I really, really wanted, as opposed to me going, oh, this is so hard, So the things we're saying to ourselves have a massive impact on the result. Isaac, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you said, do you create and produce your own music or do you get professional help? I do create my own music. I have a producer and he helps me with certain things like orchestration and that type of thing. But I am a songwriter. I write my own songs. And I personally, I don't have a full-time band. I hire the members that I want because that's the style of my music business. Your music business might be different. You might have a band and people that, share the responsibility of writing music. But I do write all my own music. Deja said, so what happens when you do more than just music? I model and cosplay. Woo, that's funny. It's awesome. Is it okay to post that on the same page? Should it be separate? I want to be known for all of what I do, but it's different to fit it all in. Yeah, Deja. I mean, I don't know what kind of music you make, but I think that what you do should definitely be part of your culture. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about building your culture. Your music and who you are, that's part of your branding, right? So if you're big into cosplay, make that a part of your music, make that a part of your branding, make that a part of your cover art, make that a part of your targeting when we go to do ads and we want to target certain people who are going to basically have the same things in common with you. So you're attracting very, very similar people to you. And that's why it will snowball. And that's why you'll make sales, is because they're going to love the same things that you do. They're going to want to spend money on the same things you do. They're going to want a soundtrack on their way for the drive on the way to cosplay stuff. So this is what I understand. I do this very well. I can help you create that culture. That's all inside mainly of the online musician. And we get deeper into it in the superfan system. But you got to master that first phase, really creating your culture. So I do think you should be posting all kinds of things related to your music and your culture, and that your personality is all just part of that. Gerald said, what is your advice on copywriting compositions? Well, these days, Gerald, it's very, very easy to copyright. I'm not concerned. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I also don't think it's the end of the world either. The minute you upload something to TuneCore, CD Baby, and you push that publish button, technically it's copyrighted. In the court of law, there's a timestamp on there that you cannot change. So, the old poor man's copyright was you would mail yourself your music in the mail with a stamp on it, whatever. So the digital version of that is uploading it to a distribution platform, right? So you can do it you can do the paper way if you want, but you don't have to. There's, I'm not concerned about it. There's a million different things under the sun. Could someone steal my song and make it sound similar? Yeah, but there's more where that came from. I'm just not too overly concerned about it. Charlie said, how do I get email addresses? That's a great question. There's many, many ways. I went over some of them in detail in this class already. I use music videos. I use Facebook ads primarily. I use Messenger, Facebook Messenger. I use basically all my social media platforms. I always offer people something for the email though. I never ask them for nothing. I don't say, give me your email address and I'm not going to give you anything in return. There's always something in return. So those are the things we strategize about, and I show you tutorials and all of that. That's all inside the tribe. Clint, are lyric videos good? Absolutely. People love lyric videos. And if you can't afford to do a full scale production of a big music video, lyric video is definitely a second best choice. Robert said, which email list do you upload and to where? Well, that, my friend, would be a tutorial. That is all inside the Superfan system in the advanced Tribe Pro level. There's no way I could go into all of that here. We'd be here for 2 or 3 hours for me to show you all of it. But basically, I can take my email list that I've built and I upload it to Facebook. There's a place where I do it in the ads manager. You can try and figure it out yourself, but it can be complicated. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong. There's a million ways to do it the wrong way and waste your money. So I don't want that for you. I definitely recommend that you join. I hope to see you inside of the tribe, and then you can get all that information. You're welcome, Oscar, and you're welcome, Clint. Carol asked, do you license any of your music or sell it directly to fans? I don't license any of my music right now. That is something I haven't really touched. Everything I've accomplished today, I've done without any kind of licensing stuff. That's maybe an avenue I'll explore at some point, but it's really not a big part. And as you saw in the breakdown, if you were here for the slide, licensing is only 2% of where people are making music in the music industry right now. 50% of it is, I think 40 or 50% of it is just streaming and digital, and 30% of it is physical. So that's really where we want to focus. Someone asked, how did you initially get your music recorded? I hired, that's another story for another time, I think, but basically I had it was an artist development group, and I recorded my music. Actually, it took me 2 years to record my first album. It's kind of a long story, but 2 years start to finish when I started it and then when I released it. So that was a long haul. I chipped away at it and just worked on it when I could. So that's kind of how I did it. Corey said, do you master your own music or hire it out? I absolutely hire it out. Mixing and mastering can make or break your whole sound. Do not try to do it yourself. I really don't recommend it unless you are an expert. It's worth the money to get it done properly. And this is your art. This is your music. Yeah, you could paint a painting on a paper bag, but why would you do that? Yeah, some artists are talented enough to do it, but it's going to be so much better if you paint it on a proper canvas, and then get it inside a proper frame, because that's, your display. And I think mixing and mastering is that's the wax on the car. Without that wax, it's not shiny at all. It just looks kind of dull. So get it done properly. Adam said, I have a podcast show about guitar playing. Would this help gain more listeners? Hey, I love that idea. Absolutely. Because everything you learn here is going to be, these are online marketing principles that, like I said, I spend tens of thousands of dollars on my education just to learn business and marketing. Everything I have done here, and the reason I've had success is because I didn't study the music industry. I stopped doing that and I started studying business, just in general. But then I found a way to just really translate it well into the music world, which is not always easy. That can be tricky, but I absolutely think you can apply and should apply everything you learn in the tribe for your podcast. Layla asked, do you recommend it for managers too? 100%, 110%. If you're a music industry professional and you're listening right now, you need these processes. What I have here is a system, okay? I'm not just throwing random stuff at you. It's a very well-designed, organized, systematic process for you to take clients through. So if you're a musician, it'll work. But if you're a manager or a producer and you have clients, you should be taking them through this process. The instant you have this process on hand, this will make you 10 times more valuable for your clients. Like, you can charge more money because you're going to have a plan of action that works. So I don't care if you're a musician or an industry professional, you need this plan 110%. Ronnie asked, can YouTube plays work for harvesting info on audience or only Facebook? Oh, you can, but it's a different platform and a different audience. You should definitely take it into consideration. They do have some analytics, but nothing is quite as powerful as some of the tools we have with Facebook. Nothing quite compares with that at the moment. So it's definitely a good idea. And yeah, there's some very specific tools that we use to do that. Monica asked, how did you get your email list increased by the lyric video you mentioned at the beginning? I did that by, I didn't just post the lyric video, I posted a description. I posted a story of why I decided to do this lyric video, this cover song, when there's already been so many people who have covered it. Why did I do it? And then where can they download it for free? And so I had an option. I even had a phone number they can text in and it would automatically put their email into my system. Ooh, that's that ninja marketing stuff I'm talking about. And that is in the Superfan system and the Tribe Pro level. Julie says, I love your teaching skills. Thanks, Julie. Let's see. You asked, is it true as a new artist, you should only start with cover songs? No, not at all. I mean, you can if you don't have anything else. If you don't have original songs, I started out of the gate with original music. I just went for it, and why not? I do not think that you have to start out with covering songs. No. Jerry said, going back to the covers, have you encountered licensing issues? I have not personally, and there are some resources that we have that I will direct you to in order to sort out licensing issues, because if you plan on making money with it, you definitely have to sort that out, and there's specific ways you do that. I just want to say another welcome to Corey, Rebecca, and Daniel. We have a whole bunch of other people joining right now, which is awesome. I don't know how many slots we have left for that 10,000 fans in 7 days course that will be gifted to you, but my staff will let me know. I can't even, I'm trying to go through all the questions here. But if I were you, I would get on this immediately if you want to get that course for free. It'll appear in your dashboard, 10,000 fans in 7 days. Jim asked, what are your thoughts on non-exclusive music syncing for TV and music placement? Jim, sync licensing and all of that is not my area of expertise. Like I said, I don't focus my time on that because that's not where the money is at in the industry right now. It's like one of those things, it's kind of a fluke. Like if you happen to get a licensing deal, awesome, but like 99% of us won't. And so that's why I don't spend my time there. Like that's a rabbit to chase on another day. Right now, I want to focus on where the money is, and that's in digital streaming, the fan clubs, selling merchandise online, and your expertise, all of these things that I go through thoroughly in one of the modules in the Online Musician. So that's why I focus on that. Candy asked, how do you break the Facebook curse of no one seeing your post without advertising? Candy, well, first of all, guys, you got to know that Facebook at the moment is reprioritizing the news feed, and it's happening to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're the best marketer in the world. Basically, the secret is post better content. Post content that people are interested in. Post content that people want to share. How do you do that? Well, you can go through the Online Musician and you will really dial in your culture and your community. When you do that, you're going to know what to post and you're going to know when to post it. I have a lot to share with you. I have a lot to teach you about that. And you can win, okay? So my posts are seen all over the place. My reach is different depending on the post, but you need to be people need to not be so obsessed with that part. The platform still is amazing. There's no such thing as a cheaper platform than Facebook for advertising, for building an audience. Like, you need to be doing this. Ian asked, what is a messenger bot? A messenger bot is kind of like automated messaging that happens in the Facebook Messenger platform. It's something that you can kind of program. And I actually have a separate mini course for that. But when you're a tribe member, all my other mini courses are at a discount for you, which is awesome. So like you will not get the public price, you'll get the discounted price. But basically I have like doubled my sales at least just from using Facebook Messenger bots. So it's like a sequence of interactions. It's hard for me to explain it all in here in one sentence, but it's basically like little automations that I have created. So when someone messages my page, it says, oh, hey, how's it going? And then they might say something and then it replies back automatically so that I don't have to spend 10,000 hours on Facebook a week just replying to people on my page. There's kind of already like an automated system for that. And they know, and I'm very upfront with them, hey, this is my bot. So I'm not trying to deceive them. They know that it's a bot and then I'll get back to them. But it's just a way of automating my time and leveraging my time. Shondella, sorry if I don't know how to pronounce your name. You said, I'm a stay-at-home mom with 3 boys, ages 7, 4, and 1. What would you recommend I do to have good time management? I have my music. I could just never find the time to record. I totally understand. And you know what? I made my first album when my kids were in those age ranges as well. And well, first of all, I chipped away at it. I had a plan. I had the songs all chosen. I had a blueprint of what I was going to do. And then it was just a matter of me chipping away at it. And like I said, my first album took me 2 years to start to finish. So don't feel like, if you record that you have to do it in a month. That's not the way this works. This is the new music industry. You get to do whatever you want and to go at your own pace. And that's also why we have the tribe too, because I want you to be able to take your time, go through the course, get your plan in place and, execute it as time allows, so you're not going to be able, you're not going to get behind. And so I chipped away at it. It was like once a week that I really worked on it. I just happened to find a producer who was willing to do it that way with me. And so I was like, that was all I could pull off at the time when I had little babies and, I had kids in diapers at the time. So I couldn't just like go in for 3 weeks and record, it just wouldn't work while my husband was at work. So, I totally know how it is. I also have the Busy Musician Bootcamp. When you join, that will be in there where I show you how to optimize your daily schedule and your time and routines and things that you can do that will free up your time and free up your energy and free up your creativity. Okay. Also, you asked, what are some things I can do to keep my audience engaged? I have over 7,000 followers. I'm starting to lose followers. Well, losing some people is normal, but things to keep your audience engaged, post more video. In the Zero to Hero guide, I have a lot in there about how to do Facebook Live videos. That's the best way to get a ton of engagement, to reach the most people. Facebook will reward you and push your live video into the news feed, and it will live on for like 48 hours or more. So I definitely encourage you to do a Facebook Live videos on your page if you're not seeing that following and that reach. Diego said, is it okay if you want both to build your digital fan world and play live at the same time? Absolutely, Diego. Absolutely. You should be doing both. I just am telling you, like, you're not going to see a whole bunch of modules on playing live shows in here. I am focused on helping you do 3 simple things, and that is build your fan base or get your artist identity, build your fan base, and automate that fan base. That's it. Okay. Now, what you want to do live will enhance anything you're doing in the tribe, in all your efforts in online marketing. It will enhance that, but you can do it on its own too. Corey said, what if my music is already out? No problem, Corey. I will show you how to relaunch your music every single day to new people. So like I said, it doesn't matter if your music has been out for 30 years. There's a market for that. Your audience is growing with you. They're aging with you. So it doesn't matter how old or new your music is. There's definitely a way to perpetually market that on what we call evergreen. So where it's like, it doesn't run out, like you're introducing your music is new to new people, right? So there's definitely a way to do that. We use Facebook advertising a lot for that. We only have a few spots left for that 10,000 fans in 7 days. If you want that course for free, you will get 10,000 fans within 7 days or less. Some people got it in like 3 days. real potential fans, real people, real profiles. We're not buying anything fake, nothing like that. That will appear in your dashboard. We only have a few spots left, so you need to join now to get that. Otherwise, you will have to pay for it separately down the road. Dan asked, how does this work for bands who tour? How do you target your audience geographically? Oh, that's awesome. You could do a ton with Facebook ads when you get to the advanced level to target people locally and geographically. It's like, if I want to fill up a show, I can target the exact city. I can target the exact town. I can target a specific zip code if I want to attract people and get them to a show. And I can get very, very detailed. I can say, I want them between this age and this age. I want them to be, male and female. I want them to like these other bands. I want them to be people who have a history of spending money on Facebook. I can get so detailed. It's absolutely crazy and creepy, but really amazing for us as musicians of how detailed we can get. So that's in the super fan, that's in the Tribe Pro level. Regardless, guys, I got to tell you, even if you're like, I want to get into the Facebook ads and do that now, you need to start at the foundation level. If you want the advanced stuff to work for you, I don't care if you're a veteran musician, you've been doing this for like 50 years, you need to start with the online musician in the basic Tribe level. Start there. You will learn some invaluable information, golden nuggets that will propel and accelerate your results when you get to the advanced superfan system course. You've got to start at that foundation level in order to see success. Okay, we're going to be wrapping up here in just a minute. So let's do the last cash prize for those who are still here. Okay, we're doing the second cash prize. I'm going to ask you, are you ready? You guys ready? Okay, what are the 3 phases of building a successful music career online? What are the 3 phases? If you can tell them to me, the first person to type it in the chat gets the Amazon gift card. I think we're doing a $50 Amazon gift card. Go. Hey, Orlando, and you're saying you want to sign your son up for this. This is awesome. I highly encourage parents to take their kids through this for sure. Ooh, Dan, artist identity, fan generation, scaling. That's right. Dan's a winner. Congratulations. Okay, awesome, guys. Well, if you have any last questions, now is the time to ask me because we're about to wrap this up. Let's see here. I have a couple other questions. Do you have any guarantees that'll make 6 figures or some kind of timeline? Absolutely not. There's no way I can assess where every individual is at in the artist identity and fan generation phases. It is going to completely depend on you and how bad you want this. It's like anything else. You're going to get what you put into it, right? What you put in, you can expect to get out of it. If you just watch the modules and don't take action, then you won't see the success. And, another thing I sometimes see students suffer from is analysis paralysis, right? Where they take in the information, they're like, wow, that's awesome. And then they just think about it. They just kind of get stuck like thinking about it. Well, I'm going to be here to hold your feet to the fire, keep you accountable. Your peers are going to keep you accountable. These other incredibly amazing musicians who are all doing the same thing are going to be there to keep you accountable and make it happen. We all need an accountability partner. And so I want to partner with you. I would be so honored to be your guide and take you through this whole journey, this process. So I would love it to see you inside the Tribe family. And, coming up, we'll be taking questions for the next coaching Q&A day and the next student hot seat. I would love to have you have gone through some of the course and you can submit your questions. I can spend some time going through, wherever you're at. And Brett, how do we get the slides? You click on the Get Started Here button, the getsuperfans.com, and then you're going to scroll to the very, very bottom of that page. And there's going to be a downloads button, okay? It's just going to be, I'm going to give you the slides for this whole presentation, and then you'll also get a special workbook on how to find your micro niche so that you can just start that process right away. So like I said, click on the button in the chat, getsuperfans.com, and scroll to the bottom. There's the button. You are so welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. Corey, you asked who does your mastering. I've had a couple of people in Germany do it. This time I'm having, I think the guy who's mixing my music will also master. It's Jacob Hansen over in Europe as well. So Dan said he took notes. That's awesome. And congratulations to everyone who signed up. Again, if you're wanting that 10,000 fans in 7 days, it might even already be gone now. My apologies. But if you're one of the first 50 people to sign up today, you will see that course appear in your dashboard when you log into your course. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today, guys. This was awesome. I hope to see you inside the tribe, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.